Hello, I'm Kyle Bratch, I'm Chaparral Motorsports, and today I'm standing in front of our Africa Twin outfitted with the OEM stock tire. This is one of the two tires that comes on this bike. This is the A41 from Bridgestone. It's the A41 Adventure tire. The other tire that this bike comes stock with is the Dunlop Trail Max, which you'll see at the bottom of the stack over here. Now this A41 Adventure tire from Bridgestone is a primarily street tire. It's not rated as a 90-10 or an 80-20. It really is an adventure street tire that they built for longevity and for exceptional wet weather handling. We'll go over those characteristics here in just a second, but before we finish up this adventure tire test, we wanted to get these tires out and put them through some of the paces that we've put the tires behind me through the test as well. Behind me, you're gonna see a slew of tires. We did roughly 21 sets of adventure tires, ranging from a 90-10, so 90% street, 10% dirt, all the way up to a 60-40, 60% dirt, 40% street. Now, each of the tire manufacturers have their own way of rating these tires, so we wanted to make sure that we tested them equivalently. We ran the same air pressure, 30 PSI, in all of these tires, took them out, and put them through their paces. Now, let's go over some of the features and benefits of this A41 Adventure tire from Bridgestone, and then I'm gonna take you out on the trail and the road so you can see just how it performs. While preserving long tire life, the Adventure A41 achieves the conflicting objective of performance in the wet, stability in the dry, and improved handling. In particular, shorter braking distances on wet road surfaces and enhanced cornering grip make for a more confident riding experience even in the rain. This is a next generation adventure type tire that allows riders to extract even more enjoyment from the unique riding that only an adventure bike can offer, whether it be long distance touring, highway cruising, or riding on unpaved roads. This tire is recommended for riders who travel on adventure motorcycles and enjoy mostly on-road touring. This tire is also fantastic for riders who find themselves riding in wet situations often, as it offers high wet performance and a long tread life wear. You'll notice the tread pattern has deco groove enhancements, which give wet weather performance and offers improved agility and line holding with an aggressive look. This delivers confidence-inspiring performance and excellent life for a wide range of bikes. The front tire uses a 3LC tread construction. Through the appropriate distribution of compounds optimized for grip, this tire achieves two objectives: superior handling and mileage. The rear tire uses the 3LC Plus construction. The upper section of the shoulder uses a compound with a softer type of silica, while the compound adopted for the lower section uses a medium hard type of silica. This results in improved stability when cornering. When looking at the tread pattern, it has been designed to achieve improved performance in both dry and wet. We've mentioned that a couple times. This is how they did it. If you look at the number 1, this has an increased groove ratio at the shoulder. This gives improved water drainage and enhances performance in wet conditions. When you look at feature number 2, the high angled grooves are distributed over the shoulder section, increasing the contact for more uniform distribution of contact pressure, which results in improved wet grip when cornering. Looking at aspect number 3, this reduced portion of the grooves in the central section of the tread increases the block rigidity, resulting in shorter braking distances in wet conditions, as well as improved straight line stability. All right, now let's get on this bike and ride it.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Today I want to talk about the stock tires that came on this Africa Twin CRF 1000L. They are the Bridgestone Battlax A41 tires. Now these have been on the Africa Twin for quite a while now. They're also an OEM tire for several of the other adventure bike manufacturers out there. The Africa Twin specifically comes on either this tire or a tire from Dunlop called the Trail Max. I have another video out there that talks about that specific tire and kind of how it functions and works, but they're both 90-10 tires, what I would call them, 90% or even 95% on road and then 5 or 10% off road. They do a pretty decent job on gravel, fire roads, and things of that nature. So take a look at this tread right here. As you can see, the leading edges are pretty minimal. There's 2 or 3 right here. And then the space between between the lugs, if you will. I mean, it's basically a street tire that has larger sipes in it than a standard street tire, and that's really what's giving it its off-road capability, is just the amount of distance between one patch of rubber and the next. Now, I've been riding this tire for about 1,000 miles now, and I've had it in several different types of terrain, and I'm going to say that it's a pretty good all-around tire. I mean, if you're looking for a street tire that you're going to hammer some gravel roads on, this tire is a really good tire. Now, I have noticed that on cold mornings such as this, it's 59 degrees outside, it's not really cold, but even this morning, as I leave out of a driveway and go to turn, the back end, when it hits the paint, is going to skip a little bit. It was a little bit dewy last night, so there might be a little bit of moisture on top of that paint. And just the fact that the tire itself isn't as warm as it would be. It was also the beginning of my ride, so the tire itself wasn't warmed up, but there's lots and lots of tires that I've ridden and tested that do not do that. So that's a characteristic of this tire that I'm going to say is a negative characteristic. The fact that it takes a little bit of time to warm up, and when temperatures are cold or damp, painted surfaces can be a little bit tricky. So you can see that once they get warmed up, they've got quite a bit of grip. They do a really good job at being able to hunker down on the pavement and do their job. This last weekend, I was out carving some canyons with Travis and his father-in-law, Manuel, and both this tire and the Dunlop Trail Max were on those bikes. And I gotta say, it's a really good do-it-all adventure tire if you're not getting really dirty on it. If you're not hitting mud, if you're not in deep sand, if you're not in slippery topsoil on top of some hard pack, this tire actually does a really good job. Travis comes from a strictly dirt background, and after we got done riding for the day, he's like, man, these tires actually really impressed me. I thought I wasn't gonna be able to go on half the stuff that, you know, as we started rolling towards it, I'm like, oh crap, I got these tires on it. But at the end of the day, they ended up working out really well. Now, I did crash this bike on these tires on that trip. I came across a cement culvert that had some dirt sprinkled on top of it. And as I came in and rounded my corner as I normally would on a solid dirt road, the front tire just disappeared like I was on ice. Really fast, boom, down. Didn't even know what happened. I came into that corner, I didn't touch brake, I wasn't on the throttle, I just was making that corner, and because that loose dirt that was on the top is a different consistency than that cement basin that I was going over, the tire just didn't have any side lugs on it to be able to keep it from slipping out, and poof, away it went. No good. Now, as this is a street tire primarily, instead of a true adventure off-road tire, the sidewalls on this tire are relatively soft. So the problem with that is when you get into off-road situations like we did on Sunday, you have to keep the pressures up a little bit. I mean, anywhere from 25 to 30 PSI is about as low as you're going to want to go on terrain like that, because the sidewalls aren't very stiff. A lot of the other adventure tires that are out there in the marketplace have a very stiff sidewall so that you can air the tire down and the tread of the tire can do its job, but that sidewall is protecting your rim from dings and scrapes and pinch flats, which is the most important thing. This last weekend we did have 2 different pinch flats that we found in this tire. One we were able to fix and one that we were not, which resulted in us having to go back and get the pickup truck and go ahead and bring his bike home, which was a bummer. Now, once we got into the dirt, the regular traditional dirt roads, they were just fine. We could hammer those with no problem at all whatsoever. Now, when the terrain got really deep and loose, we had a problem with these tires actually being able to grab a hold and propel the bike forward. In the really soft gravelly type sections, you can hear the engine RPM of my bike revving a little bit higher than it would, and we're really not going anywhere forward. That tire is just kind of spinning back there, trying to find traction, and it's really not able to do a good job. Now I'm going to show you a clip of Travis trying to get some traction as he's pulling away from the group to start out of the ride. As you can see, this tire is working really hard to try to find traction, but there's just not enough leading edge or bite on that tire in order to dig in and propel forward, dig in and propel forward. Now, about the only thing I haven't really been able to demonstrate on these tires as of yet has been deep sand. So what I'm going to do is pull off right now, go ahead and jump into some of that deep sand and see if I can't show you what that looks like. A little Santa Ana River action. down in here today because at the end of this little spillage way, if you will, there's a great deep sand section. It's a great place to showcase these tires and kind of how they handle in deep sand situations. It's doing a lot better than I thought it would do. We're totally just shooting a huge roost. Over there you can see the track we just made from right here. Kind of snakes out, it goes out and around, comes back. Like I said, it's about a mile and a half to the next where I usually get off when I'm doing a tire test. So I really don't feel like fighting it that much today. Here's a little hill climb for you. So that's what I have for you today. This is the Battlax A41 from Bridgestone. I can say it's a relatively capable tire. Sand, it did a lot better than I thought it would. I really have to give it credit for how well it pushed forward in the sand. It takes a little bit of effort, but the tire itself actually did a really good job. So that's it, Bridgestone A41 Battlecross tire. If you're looking at getting a new adventure bike and it has that tire on its stock, well, this is the type of terrain and the type of experience that you can expect to get out of that tire. If it's currently on your bike and you're wondering what it does because you're afraid to take your bike out and drop it, well, there again, it's a good example of what those tires are capable of, so you can judge what type of terrain you would like to go adventure out on.
Thank you for joining us on this quick little tire test of the Bridgestone A41 Adventure tire. As you can see, this is a primarily street-oriented tire, allowing you to get your adventure bike out there into the world. I'm Chaparral from Chaparral Motorsports. Thanks for tuning in and watching. If you like what you saw today, give us a thumbs up. Please take a look at the link below to the playlist of all of the tires that we tested during this adventure motorcycle test. If you want more action like this coming directly to your inbox, please hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so you can be part of the notification squad. Until next time, take care and ride safe out there.